Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to this cozy little corner where stories come alive and where every life, no matter the age, carries wisdom worth sharing. Today, I want to invite you into a story that could change the way you look at retirement. Meeting Henry Scott. At 68, Henry has learned that retirement isn't just about stopping work. It's about starting over with intention. In this quiet chapter of life, Henry shares the 5 things he wished he had bought before he retired. Small choices that made a big difference in how secure, peaceful, and joyful his golden years turned out to be. So before you take that final step away from your career, pause, listen to Henry's story. Because sometimes the difference between a stressful retirement and a fulfilling one is just 5 thoughtful decisions made at the right time. And if his story touches your heart, leave a number 1 in the comments below as a sign of shared feeling. And don't forget to share this story with the people you love, because maybe, just maybe, it's exactly what they need to hear right now. Henry Scott sat in the quiet embrace of his Ohio living room, where the late afternoon sun cast a gentle golden hue across the walls. At 68, he was a man shaped by time, a retired high school history teacher, a widower, a father of 2, and a grandfather of 4. His silver hair shimmered in the light, and his eyes, lined with the marks of a richly lived life, held a quiet strength. He settled into his worn leather recliner, a steaming mug of coffee cradled in his hands, and let his thoughts wander down the winding path that had brought him to this moment. Retirement, he had come to understand, was not simply a destination. It was a journey that called for preparation, reflection, and a touch of courage. And today, he was ready to share that journey with the world. The story today, Buy These 5 Things Before You Retire, was something he had long cherished, a message he had been waiting to share. These weren't flashy purchases like sports cars or designer watches. No, Henry's list was grounded in reality, forged through victories and missteps alike, and steeped in the kind of emotional wisdom that only decades of wholehearted living could bring. A familiar spark ignited in his chest, the feeling of purpose, of life reaching outward. Because this wasn't just about giving advice, it was about connection. It was his way of helping others avoid the pitfalls he had once stumbled into. It was a message from the heart that retirement isn't the end. It's the beginning of a life worth living, one rich with meaning and wholeness. Let's begin. Thing 1. A comprehensive financial plan. Henry's voice was steady but laced with conviction as he began. If there's one thing I could tell my younger self, it'd be this: get serious about a financial plan and do it yesterday. He paused, his gaze drifting to a framed photo of his late wife Margaret on the fireplace mantel. Her smile, frozen in time, was a reminder of the life they'd built together and the financial struggles they had overcome. Margaret had been the one to insist on their first meeting with a financial advisor, back when they were juggling a mortgage, car payments, and college tuition for their son and daughter. Let me be clear, Henry continued, leaning toward the camera. Retirement isn't just about leaving your job. It's about stepping into a phase where your paycheck might disappear, but your dreams don't. A comprehensive financial plan is your lifeline. It's the difference between freedom and fear. Henry shared the story of their financial awakening in their early 50s. Like many, he'd been complacent, assuming his teacher's pension and a modest 401k would be enough. But a chance conversation with a colleague who'd retired only to return to work due to unexpected expenses shook him awake. He and Margaret met with a certified financial planner, a decision that changed everything. The planner helped them map out their future, accounting for inflation, taxes, healthcare costs, and the unpredictable twists life throws. They diversified their investments, opened Roth IRAs, and built a robust emergency fund. By the time Henry retired at 62, they had a nest egg that allowed them to cover essentials, take annual trips to the Smoky Mountains, and treat their grandkids to summer amusement park visits. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Henry admitted to early mistakes, like investing too heavily in a single stock, only to watch it plummet during a market dip. That was a $10,000 lesson, he said with a wry smile. A financial plan isn't just about saving. It's about protecting what you've got. He urged his viewers to start early, even if it felt overwhelming. Meet with a planner, even if it's just for a consultation, he said. Run the numbers. Ask the hard questions. What will healthcare cost? What if the market crashes? What if you live to 95? A good plan doesn't just prepare you for the expected. It shields you from the unexpected. His voice softened. You're not doing this to get rich. You're doing it to live on your terms, to wake up each morning knowing you're okay. Thing 2. A home that fits your future. Henry's eyes crinkled with a smile as he moved to his second point. Now, I'm not saying you need a fancy penthouse or a beachfront villa, but you do need a home that's ready for the next chapter of your life. He gestured around his living room, a space filled with memories. The patchwork quilt Margaret had sewn, the oak bookshelf overflowing with history books, the grab bars he'd installed in the bathroom after a knee replacement. When Margaret and I bought our first house in our 30s, we were thinking about the present, he said. Good schools, a big backyard for the kids, room for holiday parties. But we didn't think about what we'd need at 60 or 70. Their two-story colonial, with its steep staircase and sprawling lawn, became a burden as they aged. The yard work was exhausting, the utility bills were steep, and navigating the stairs grew riskier with each passing year. In their late 50s, they made a bold move. They downsized. They sold the family home and bought a single-level ranch house in a quiet suburb near Columbus. It was closer to their daughter, Emily, and her family had a manageable garden Henry could tend, and was designed with energy efficiency in mind. The profit from the sale bolstered their retirement savings, and the new house felt like a fresh start. It wasn't just a house, Henry said. It was a home that let us age with dignity. He shared the emotional weight of that decision. Leaving the house where they'd raised their kids wasn't easy. Every scratch on the door frame, every dent in the drywall told a story. But the relief of a space that suited their needs outweighed the nostalgia. Your home is your sanctuary, he said. It's where you'll spend most of your retirement. Think about what you'll need in 10, 20 years. Maybe it's a condo with an elevator, a cottage near your grandkids, or a place like mine, where you can move without worrying about stairs or snow shoveling. Henry encouraged his viewers to consider accessibility, maintenance costs, and proximity to loved ones. And don't wait until you're forced to move, he added. Start exploring now, while you've got the energy to make choices. A home that fits your future is a gift to yourself. Thing 3. A robust healthcare strategy. Henry's tone grew somber as he tackled the third item. If there's one thing that can turn your retirement dreams into a nightmare, it's healthcare costs. He absently rubbed his knee, a reminder of the arthritis that had settled in during his 60s. I used to think I was bulletproof, he said with a chuckle. Didn't need a doctor unless I was half dead. But age has a way of teaching you otherwise. He shared a sobering moment from 5 years ago, when a routine checkup revealed high blood pressure and early signs of heart disease. The medications, specialist visits, and diagnostic tests could have crippled his finances without a solid healthcare plan. I got lucky, he said. Margaret and I had done our homework. Their healthcare strategy began in their late 50s when they started researching Medicare. They enrolled in a supplemental plan to cover gaps in coverage and set aside a dedicated fund for out-of-pocket expenses. Henry also stressed the importance of long-term care insurance, a topic many shy away from. Margaret's cancer battle showed me why it matters, he said, his voice catching. Her hospital stays, her home care, they weren't cheap. Without insurance, we'd have been sunk. Henry dove deeper, explaining the complexities of Medicare Parts A, B, and D, and the value of Medigap policies. He shared how he'd underestimated dental and vision costs, which Medicare often doesn't cover, and wished he'd budgeted more for those. And don't forget about your health now, he added. Eat well, exercise, get those checkups. The healthier you're going into retirement, the less you'll spend down the road. He looked directly into the camera, his eyes earnest. Healthcare isn't sexy, but it's the backbone of a secure retirement. Talk to an expert, understand your options, protect yourself and your family. You deserve to focus on living, not worrying about bills. Thing 4. A passion project to ignite your soul. Henry's face lit up as he reached the fourth item, his enthusiasm palpable. This one's close to my heart, he said, gesturing to the camera. Before you retire, find a passion project, something that makes you leap out of bed, eager to start the day. When I first retired, I was lost, he admitted. Teaching gave me structure, purpose. Without it, I felt like a ship without a sail. Margaret noticed his restlessness and suggested he try something new. Henry had always loved storytelling, whether it was bringing history to life for his students or spinning bedtime tales for his grandkids. So, he bought a second-hand camera, watched YouTube tutorials, and launched his channel. What began as a hobby became a lifeline, connecting him with viewers across the country. Your passion project doesn't have to be grand, he said. It's not about fame or money. It's about joy. He shared stories of others who'd found their spark. His friend Tom, who started woodworking and now crafted heirloom furniture. His neighbor Lila, who turned her love of reading into a thriving community book club. Even his son Mark, who took up beekeeping as a weekend escape. These things keep you sharp, keep you connected, Henry said. They remind you that retirement isn't about slowing down. It's about living more fully. He encouraged his viewers to experiment before retiring. Try that pottery class, volunteer at the animal shelter, start a blog. Don't wait for the perfect idea, just start. You'll be amazed at what lights you up. For Henry, the channel wasn't just about sharing advice. It was about building a community, a place where people could learn from each other's stories. Find your passion, he said, and you'll find your purpose. Thing 5. A network of meaningful relationships. Henry's voice softened as he reached the final item, his words heavy with emotion. If there's one thing that matters more than money or houses or health plans, it's the people in your life. Before you retire, invest in your relationships, family, friends, community. They're the heartbeat of a good life. He picked up the photo of Margaret, his thumb tracing the frame. Margaret and I had 42 years together, he said. We raised 2 kids, traveled to 30 states, laughed until we cried, and held each other through the dark days. But it wasn't just us. Our friends, our church, our neighbors, they were our anchor. Henry confessed he hadn't always gotten it right. In his 40s, work consumed him, and he missed too many of his son's baseball games, too many quiet evenings with Margaret. Retirement gave him a second chance. He rebuilt his bond with Mark through fishing trips, started weekly dinners with Emily and her family, and rekindled friendships with old colleagues over poker nights. He even joined a local gardening club where he met kindred spirits who shared his love of heirloom tomatoes. Relationships take work, he said. They take time, vulnerability, forgiveness, but they're worth it. He urged his viewers to take stock of their connections before retiring. Call that friend you've lost touch with. Apologize to your sibling if you need to. Join a club, a church, a volunteer group. Build a circle that'll be there when the days get long, and they will. He shared a poignant memory of Margaret's final months when friends and family rallied around them. Those visits, those meals, those prayers, they carried us, he said. That's what relationships do. They hold you up when you can't stand alone. He wasn't merely offering advice. He was opening up his heart, sharing a part of his soul with the world, hoping his words might illuminate the path for someone else. Retirement, he knew, wasn't a flawless fairy tale, but with intention and preparation, it could become something beautiful, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. That belief, that hope, was something worth shouting from the rooftops, because everyone deserved a retirement that didn't just mark the end of work, but the beginning of a new, vibrant chapter. Henry leaned back slowly into his well-worn recliner, the familiar creak of the leather echoing softly in the quiet room. His coffee had long gone cold, forgotten in the fire of his thoughts, but his spirit was more alive than ever. A gentle smile formed on his face as he gazed into the distance, eyes filled with conviction. Retirement isn't the finish line. It's the starting gate, he said, his voice carrying the weight of years and the brightness of hope. But you've got to prepare for it, not just financially, not just practically, but emotionally, spiritually. These 5 things: a financial plan, a home that truly fits your needs and lifestyle, a healthcare strategy that gives you peace of mind, a passion project that keeps your soul engaged, and strong relationships that bring joy and connection. These aren't just tasks to cross off a list. They are the very pillars of a life well lived. They are the groundwork for your next great adventure. And then he leaned forward, his gaze intense, as if speaking directly to the person on the other side of the screen. "And please," he said, his voice softer but no less urgent, "don't wait until tomorrow. Don't put off the life you deserve. Choose one thing, just one, from that list. Take that first step. Make the call to a financial advisor. Walk through that smaller home you've been thinking about. Research your healthcare options. Explore Medicare. Sign up for that woodworking class, or painting, or writing, whatever lights you up inside. Call your oldest friend. Reconnect. Laugh. Plan that coffee date you've been meaning to have for years. One step today, another tomorrow. With each small action, you're not just preparing for retirement, you're shaping your legacy, one beautiful day at a time. His voice lingered in the air, gentle but powerful. He raised his mug, still cold, but suddenly symbolic, and smiled warmly. To your golden years, he said. The emotion behind his words, as genuine as the wrinkles around his eyes. May they shine with everything you've dreamed of, and more. You can do this. I believe in you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and walk alongside us. We hope today's story touched a quiet corner of your heart. Hold on to that feeling. And if you found even a spark of inspiration, we invite you to stay with us for the next stories to come. Each journey we share carries a message, a ray of hope, and perhaps it's exactly what you or someone you love needs right now. We'll see you again in the next story, where together we continue to share, to heal, and to move forward with hearts full of courage and hope.